Great question here. Positive Aspect says, how low can you go with a bench to still be effective? I'd like to add a super thick bench top, like 4 inches, but not go much higher than a standard sofa height, 15 inches, or is this counterproductive? Man, that's a really good question, and this is one that everyone who hasn't done a build yet, I really want you to pay attention here, because if you are trying to build a bench, what you are going to find is that elevation is the biggest challenge, and the reason for that is because I'm super challenged, right? Because I'm vertically challenged. I'm a short guy, and so for me, sitting height is really important. Most chair design standard height is roughly 18 inches. There's a variance there, but roughly 18 inches. Probably changes country to country, to be honest. But at least here in this Western culture, roughly 18-inch seating height. Now that's with your cushion or whatever. Frankly, that's almost too tall for me. My feet don't really fit flat on the floor at 18 inches. So this represents a pretty big challenge when you're talking about any of our stove cores. You know, even a 6-inch J is going to have like a 12-inch build height. It needs insulation below it if you're building on a built floor. So you've already raised it up for, you know, we're at 16 inches at the top of the core before we've even put a riser on, before we've done anything. So it's tough. It can be tough to try to stay under that height. You know, you got 4 inches of thickness, like Positive Aspect says he wants to use for the stone tops. And now we've got, how much do we got left to stay below? And maybe you want to put cushions on top of those. So you've added another 2 to 4 inches. You know, you don't have much room down there. Not to mention, we're trying to hit a 6-inch flue, so we can't really pinch that too much. And it gets difficult to drive exhaust gases down far below the core if we want them to go back up again at the end of a flue run. So there's a whole lot of challenges there. So the question is, how low can you go? You know, and that I don't think there's an absolute. I think it's going to depend on the system. But the biggest factor, I would say, Positive Aspect, is how hard can you draw? Like, if you can pull the cold gases out of that low area, then you can go as low as you want. You know, you could have a core up 100 feet and a bench, way down there, and as long as you have the draft to pull it back out, you'll get it. But that's going to be the challenge. You know, you've got the core. As soon as you're descending, you need to be shedding heat to descend, right? So the farther you go down, the more heat you shed. How much heat you shed depends on the volume of the internal space, how much is getting bled off. There's a whole lot going on here. Now you're down low, you're moving across your down low area again, you're shedding heat, you're just getting cooler and cooler, more dense, and then you're going to try and pull it up. And how far up you go is how much power you need in that chimney to pull it. Every foot matters. So that's the big deal about low elevation. So the answer is a bypass, right? Or a preheated chimney, and you can go as low as you want. So there is no hard and fast answer, and it's the same answer as really with any stove with the tuning issues. How big can my bell be? How long can my bench be? These are all the same question. They're all, how much heat can I extract from the exhaust and still get outside and maintain enough draft to keep combustion going. So that's the thing. And so, yeah, well, how low can you go? I don't know. Are you going to go right out of the riser down into the bench? You can go pretty low. Are you going to insulate on your way down there? You can really go low. You're going to save a lot of heat on your way in there. You can shed it all down there. Are you going to have a bunch of stuff before the bench, and then you're going to hit the bench and try and get out with just a little bit of trickle of power left in the flue gases? That's going to be a challenge. So maybe you have to put more energy into the flue gases with a bypass to pull it back up out of that bench. So hopefully that makes sense.